Yo, yo, YouTube! It is Wednesday, the 25th of October, and I think I might call this video, What Would You Do? Because several times today I've had decisions to make, and I think it's gone alright, but I think lots of other people would make different decisions than I made. So what I'm going to try and do is tell you how I perceived today, what was going through my mind when I made decisions, and then you can decide whether you would have done the same or different. And I won't give you stats today because I'm doing a sort of a two-dayer. I'm not going to finish a job today, so I'm going to give you the summary for the whole 2 days tomorrow. So let's just go through what I've done today. So I woke up at 8:30. I was looking on the feed around about 8:30, and it was really quiet today. And it seems to have been quiet for most of the week, from my perspective. And I had in the back of my mind I wanted to get to Bury to do a pickup and then take that to High Wycombe, and that would have been in the region of around about an 8-hour round trip. Not quite, quite allegedly 8-hour round trip. And I needed to be really starting to do that by, I would say, 12 o'clock at the latest. And I was looking for work to get me anywhere. I was discounting anything going south, or obviously London, if it's London. And I wanted to discuss something that was quite close to me. And there's quite a lot of work on for tomorrow morning. So in the end, I did put a bid on a job from Melton Mowbray going to Milton Keynes for tomorrow morning. And then I thought, well, that's that sorted out, so I'll get myself now trying to think about what I'm going to do now. And the decision I made was, it wasn't looking like there was any work. Oh yeah, going back to the morning, I'm guessing that nothing really came on the feed until about, I'm going to say 10:30. It seemed like that. I mean, maybe there was the odd job before that, but really I couldn't, I didn't feel anything was hotting up until about 10:30. And a few things came on about that time. So I was really waiting for a decent job going from Boston to the northwest. That was what I was hoping for, or because that often happens, or Boston to sort of Uttoxeter area, Stafford area. But that didn't happen until quite late on. So I was not sure what to do, and wasn't getting anywhere with quotes. So I made the decision that I would probably just head off to Bury, do my pickup, and go down to High Wycombe. Just do that as one job, dead mile it all the way from my house to Bury, and then take my load down, and then it's all over and done with. And for that job, I'm getting £250, 250, which is what I want to earn after fuel. So if I did do that, I wouldn't have made my target for today because I'd have to have spent money on fuel, but it would have been a very easy day, and it would have been close enough to target for not to worry about. And I kept dithering about whether to do that or whether I should look for a job. And my go-to mindset is get a job. I don't like just doing dead miles, and I tend to almost get any sort of job if I can, but there's nothing really getting me there. So I decided in the end that I would just head towards Bury, and I'd have the feed on, and I'd see if anything came up, but play it by ear. And as I moved off, a few jobs came up that I bid on. There was a job from Boston going to Uttoxeter, which is exactly what I was looking for. I bid on it, my normal rate, didn't get it, and it came back on again a bit later on. I was within range for about 15 minutes, and then I decided I was out of range and looked more eastwards. And then a job came up from Melton Mowbray to Dundee, which piqued my interest, which obviously isn't where I want to go, but it's a long distance. It's 430 odd miles, I think it was, because it was a small van job, picking up from Mount Mowbray, which is only about half an hour from where I was at that time, and it was about 3 or 4 stops up to Dundee. So I put on a pound a mile bid, 4.50. I didn't think I'd get it. I just put on because I would do that any day of the week for that amount of money. And then the same shipper put a job up from again Mount Mowbray going to Llandudno. And it was 6 stops. I thought, well, that's actually going. That's more like in my direction. And a quick look at the stops. And the stops were all the northwest. So I'll tell you what I did. I did a bid on this, and I made a mistake. But I'll tell you the bid first. I bid £200 for this job. It was a small van job, 6 stops, and it was 248 miles. No, 148 miles. Sorry, loaded miles. And I was thinking, my rationale was, I'll do a pound a mile, 148, 6 stops, a tenner for each stop, add £60 on, that's £208. Then round it down because, it's going in the right area. And the other rationale I had, this is why I want to explain my thinking, is I was thinking, if this is a shipper that has regular stops, regular routes that's coming out of this Mount Mowbray, maybe it's something I can get in with. So I rang the shipper at the number and it went to voicemail. I left a voice message. And then another job came up from Mount Mowbray to the northeast with 3 stops. Exactly the same principle. So I thought there may be some regular possible work here, and that's not too far from my home address. And it suits my style of doing this job. I like the kind of all-day stuff. We go long distances. So I put a bid on. I cancelled my bid. Put a bid on again, same price, and said I just let you know. Give you a voicemail, hoping to have a conversation with the person. And they did call me. We had a conversation, and then I tried to find out a bit more about the load, and they told me a bit about it. And so I thought I'd like to do this, and I said I'll do this for us, see how we get on. I'd like to work with a trusted shipper, and this is an opportunity to show how I work and see how you are. So we kind of left it at that, and I cancelled my other bids, and then I had to, so I thought, this is great, this is really good. But then I realised that I'd underbid a bit because the actual mileage, once you'd done the 6 stops, was 238 miles. So I'd actually done less than £1 a mile, even including the 6 stops. So I'm thinking probably a fairer price would have been more like 230, 240. But I'm basically using the 200 as a learning experience for the whole thing to see whether this company is worth working for. I really want to find out, are they a company that's worth working for? If I remember correctly, their terms are 45 days. I was just going to double check, because the terms weren't perfect, I don't think. Let me just double check what the terms were. Oh. No, I don't think I can see the terms now I've got the job. There's no obvious place that I can see the term. Oh, there we go. 45. Oh, right. Yeah, so it's 45 days, end of month, which is quite poor, really. So that gives me a bit of a downside. But if I get regular work and they're good otherwise, then I would let that go. And I think, although I don't want to say on the video I'm not sure, there may have been a couple of negative feedbacks for the payment, but I need to double check that. So I'm not going to mention, obviously not going to mention the name of the company. So there is a kind of, I'm not completely convinced it's going to be a company I can work with, but there might be. I don't. Yeah. Anyway, so I'll stop talking there about that. I'll take a pause, take a breath, and carry on with what I was talking about. So I feel I'm doing a job which is on the cheaper side, but not that. I don't feel I'm being uh, taken advantage of. And the actual places that I'm delivering to are as follows. There's two in Manchester, one in Liverpool, one in Warrington, one in um, Wid, um, I want to say Widnes, not Widnes, no, Wigan, and one in Llandudno. So 6 stops, quite spaced apart. Although I didn't realise that at the time because I didn't know the area that well. Llandudno is quite a lot further than I thought it might be. It's probably about an extra 20 miles than I thought it might be across the coast. It doesn't matter. Anyway, so what did I do? Oh yes, so then I had a call back from the shipper about 10 minutes later, maybe 5 minutes later, after I had saying they could do a job. It hadn't gone through yet. I hadn't accepted it off the CX system. I was waiting for it to come through. And I was just making my way towards Mountain Mowbray. And they rang back and said, "Oh, we just realised you're not going to get this delivered tonight. It needs to be done tomorrow." And we kind of talked about it, and I said I was happy to do the job still because I'll do as many as I could tonight, and then whatever I couldn't do, I'll do tomorrow morning. And I suppose I should really have negotiated a bit of a higher price at that point. I was just, I wasn't on the ball. So I think looking back on it now that I'm thinking about it, I probably missed an opportunity to ask for a bit more money. Probably 20 quid would have been what I asked for. But anyway. So because I was going to, I wanted to end up in Bury anyway, and my pickup can be flexible. So I was going to do it today, but I can do it tomorrow. That's not a problem. So because I'm going to end up in the right area, I thought this was been a reasonably good job for me to try. I'm not that keen on the whole multi-dropping, but it's only 6. But anyway, so I committed to it, and that was what I was going to do. I was a bit apprehensive when I put the phone down because I thought this could turn out to be a really bad day, but I tried to make myself think, just take it one step at a time, don't get too worried about it, and just don't try and rush. And then I realised I'd really messed up, because then I realised I've already committed to do a job tomorrow morning at 8:30 from Mountain Mowbray to Milton Keynes. And I thought, what can I do now? I can't. If I cancel this job, I'm already in the middle of the middle of the day I'm in, and it's a lot to it's a big job to let it go, and I'm going to let someone else down. So I felt that the fairest thing to do was to give the person whose job was the following day, who had all day to find a replacement, the call to say that I couldn't do their job. And I could have gone either way. To be fair, I could have said to myself, "You took the job tomorrow first, so you must honour that one because it's the first one you got." Or I could have said, as I came down to, do the bigger job now because it's a bigger one to get covered. The difference in price was £100, so I must say that did reflect on my decision. But I think because I'd rather get done what I'd already committed to today, I felt that it was better to ring tomorrow's job and say I couldn't do it. I was really apologetic. They seemed to be fine with it. They said thank you. I was apologising quite a lot, and they said don't worry about it. And then that was it. It was cancelled. So I feel that's one of the things that you might have made a different decision about, but that's what I did. And the reason I want to say this again is a big part of today is about trying out this shipper with this kind of job, because to me, this is like almost a day rate. Really, it's not quite a day rate, but if I can do this sort of job say once a week, even, it just adds to my ability to make a bit of money without having to rely on the bidding process of CX. So that's where I'm thinking. I'm thinking about building relationships with this shipper, like I did with my previous one many months ago. So that's the context as to why I've decided to stick to this job. Anyway, so I then just got on with it. I just thought, what can I do? I looked at I put in all the postcodes to Google Maps one at a time and worked out that the closest one to me was Manchester. Oh, actually, the other thing I should tell you here is the two in Manchester are both going to the Trafford Centre, and I've been there as a civvy, customer. I've never been there to deliver, and I don't know where you go to deliver. So I thought, let's do that one first. What I think will be the hardest one. It's two stops in one delivery point, really. So that's like the sort of thing to do. So I got to Trafford Centre, but I was a bit nervous about trying to find the right place to park. But when I got there, there was quite a big sign saying service yard. So I went there. I rang the button until I was new on site. I told them where I was going. They would tell me where to park up. They were quite really friendly. I went through the barrier, parked up. I got into the building. Used my sack barrow to take these items to two places inside there. It's a massive place, and I actually got delivered quite quickly, considering how big it is. I was because I was directed to the right door. I wasn't very far away from my delivery points. But then I had to get out again. I didn't have a clue where I was, so I just had to ask a security guard, who again, once I explained who I was, just let me through a door, and I was right in the right place. He said whereabouts he parked. I said where I was, which area, and he let me out. So with the help of people, very nice people, both the security guard let me in, the security guard on the site. I was in and out of Trafford Park within about 15 minutes, which I thought was really good. So then I had a choice. It was about, it would have been about 5 to 5 when I got out. And I thought that the other places, because they're all retail places I go to, that I thought the places were closed. So I had a look online, had a look at the closing times, and the next nearest one, which is Warrington, didn't close until 5:30. I thought, brilliant, I'll get that one done. That's half the stops done. So I rang them, got some advice about where I could park. To be fair, they didn't really know, so I just said I'd find out. But at least I knew I could go right to the door. This was a shopping centre in Warrington, so it was parked in a sort of residential street. There was a loading area. Walked in, got loaded, walked back. And then I looked for my next one, which was Liverpool, and I felt really lucky because that didn't close to 6:30, and I was 50 minutes away. So I could now get from where I was, Warrington to Liverpool, in time. My schedule was Google Maps was saying I'd get there at 6:15. So I rang them to double check two things. Do you actually close at 6:30? Because that'd be perfect. And actually, where can I park? Because it looked like they're on a high street. And I rang through, and my conversation with them didn't go very well. And I will kind of relay that to you, because I've got an audience of, often quite experienced same-day courier drivers. So you'll kind of maybe empathise with what I was trying to do and what I was getting at the other end. I don't want it to sound like I'm being hypercritical of the person I was talking to on the phone. I think they were just quite young and quite minor in the company, and they had to refer to their manager who was next to them. So I'm not being critical of them. I'm just going to share you my side of the conversation and what I was trying to do and what ended up happening. So it was once I got finished, it was about about 25 past. No, I can't remember, to be honest. About 5:30, say. Maybe it's 20. I can't remember, to be honest. I can't remember. It must have been about 25 past, because it's 50 minutes and I quarter past. So when I say 25 past 5, I got out of the Warrington bit I was in and just started driving and rang on my hands-free. A girl answered the phone, and I said, I'm come to deliver to you. I've got an item to deliver to you. I think you close at 6:30. Is that correct? She said yes. I said, I've got an address here of whatever it was. Is that a street location, or is that in a shopping centre? She said it's on the street. So, oh, great. I said, can I park somewhere nearby? And she said, what are you delivering? No, she said, who are you? So I was thinking, okay, well, I'm not going to tell you who I am, because it doesn't make a difference. I'm pretty sure your company doesn't know the company that I'm working for. So I just said the company I was working for. I said that I'm ABC Couriers, who are the people that I'm employed by. But I'm pretty sure that that would mean nothing to the people that I'm going to. And it didn't mean anything to them. And she said, oh, most of the time, logistics people will come to us in the morning. Which I thought, well, fair enough, yeah. But it doesn't help me right now. I'm trying to get this delivered to you now. I've got it on board. I didn't say that. I was thinking that. And then she said, what have you got? So I said, I don't really know. It's a box. I mean, I have got an itinerary here. And I started reading through the items. And the items were quite oblique and not very clear what they were. She didn't know what they were. She was sort of relaying them to her manager, and he didn't know what they were. And I was thinking at this point, why don't you just put me through to your manager, because he's the decision maker here, not you. I'm having a three-way conversation where you're in the middle. So, and then I got to the bottom of it, and I said to her, I think it might be Christmassy stuff, because I'm going to different stores with these sort of boxes. She said that to her manager, and the manager said, we're not going to accept it. And then she told me, you're not going to accept it. And I was quite shocked. And I said, okay, well, why won't you accept it? And then she said, oh, said something. And then he came on. And he came on quite, I would say, in quite an abrupt manner, saying, we're a certain kind of store. I won't tell you what kind of store it was. And we have to close by 6:30. And I said, yeah, I know, that's fine. I'm going to be there by about 6:15. And then so I think he may have misunderstood what time I was due to get there. I don't know. I think he was asking. I think he thought I was asking to stay behind, and I wasn't. I was asking him just where can I park, because I know you're open to 6:30. I said to the girl I was going to be there for 6:15, roughly 6:15. Anyway, I just said to him, look, I'm just a man in a van with a box to give to you. You sign a piece of paper, and then I'll be out your hair. And then I said, I promise I'll be there before you close. So I'm saying, find somewhere to park. I just said to you, I'll promise I'll be there before you close, because I didn't want to give him any reason to not give me the chance to come. He said, okay, as long as you're here before we close, I'll take it. So I got the agreement, and I'm not giving up now with that conversation, because this is going to get me nowhere else. I'll just get as close as I can and find my way to them. He had said to me that the road they're on is pedestrianised, so that made sense, because everything else I've been going to is in shopping centres. So I kind of knew what to expect, that I wouldn't be able to park nearby. But I thought I've got 15 minutes to find somewhere to park and then walk this box to them. So I was reasonably confident that I'd be able to do that without causing them to stay behind for longer. But I just felt that there was a miscommunication going on there. And luckily I was able to do it all hands-free while I was driving. I wasn't sort of perched waiting to get an answer before I moved, so I wasn't wasting any time. Anyway, so I got there exactly at 6:15 to Liverpool. I was trying to deliver to the pedestrianised areas in the near the well, I'm not sure what it is. I think it's near the river. I don't know Liverpool very well. I think it was Church Street. If that means anything to anyone. And so I ended up parking down. I found a loading bay which was empty down a side street. Just parked there, and I walked into town. It was about 5 minutes walk, and I got to the place quite easily. And as I walked in, the guy turned around, gave me a big smile, said, "Oh, it's you." It's like, never would have known it's the same guy. And I was, obviously as polite as I usually am, and just got him to sign the form, and then we were as happy as Larry. So he said to me, "Oh, you can come again." I think it's because I don't know. Honestly, I don't know why. I don't know why there was a problem at the start. Maybe they thought I was asking them to stay open. Maybe they didn't think I was really a courier because I wasn't on their usual list. Maybe because they're security conscious, they thought it might have been a scam. But once I arrived with my high vis on and a big box, they were happy to accept it. So I'm glad in the end that they accepted it. All right. But when he said at first, "I'm not going to accept it," my heart sank. And I just thought, this is ridiculous. So all's well that ends well. Now, next decision. I knew at this point nothing else was going to be open, and I had a decision to make. I could either head to Llandudno, which was about an hour and 10 minutes away, and tramp there overnight deliver there in the morning, and then go across to Wigan to do my last drop off, and then from Wigan go to Bury for my pickup. Or I could do it the other way around. I could go try and do my pickup tonight, tramp outside of Wigan, and then deliver Wigan in the morning and go across to Llandudno after that. And I weighed it up and I thought either way could work, because what I really want to do in an ideal world is get a co-load tomorrow morning going the way that I'm going, because I've got a pretty much empty van at the moment. So I decided in the end that I would head to Llandudno and stay there, and then deliver there first thing in the morning, and then go head back in towards the metropolis of Greater Manchester tomorrow morning. And my rationale was just twofold, really. It'd probably be find somewhere quieter to tramp in Llandudno or near Llandudno, and also I've got, if there's going to be a co-load, there's more chance of a co-load going into Greater Manchester from North Wales than going from Greater Manchester to North Wales. I think it's unlikely that either's going to happen, but I'm just giving myself what I think is the best chance to get some sort of more money. Anyway, that's that. So my decisions were, I left it late to just go straight to Bury and back, just as a job and not bother finding good work. If I'd gone sort of at 10 o'clock, I could have just done it in a day and been back home. But I couldn't face doing it without getting paid. So that's decision number one, was to try and find a job from home. Decision number two was, do I pick up the £200 multi-drop job, or do I let that go and do my drop in the morning from £100 from Mount Mowbray to Mount Keynes? And decision number three was, do I go to Llandudno to tramp or to Bury to tramp? So those are the three decisions I made today. Obviously, if I'd made different decisions at each point, my day would have been very different. Oh, the other thing to mention, which was in my mind, I had a call from a lovely shipper that I like to do work for, but he doesn't have very much work, and it's always small van stuff. It's not much money, but he's just a really sound guy. And he's based around Coventry, and he rang me to offer me a job for tomorrow, a small job for tomorrow in Coventry. And I thought, well, actually, because I can't usually do his jobs, actually tomorrow I can probably do that on the way down from Bury to High Wycombe. Just sort of do that, stop off in Coventry on the way, and perhaps do a bit of work there. So I have borne in mind that I can perhaps fit that in tomorrow afternoon as well. So both as a kind of favour, but also as a small little job. So decision making wise, there's a whole load of context behind why I make my decisions. Sometimes, I'm just going to say one last thing about this, about decision making. This is kind of my point for today. I think that when we make our decisions, obviously we're based on lots of criteria. So in the moment, what feels like the right thing to do, what kind of person is one, what has been your experience in the past, what are you trying to achieve both now and in the short term, and what is a risk analysis. If I make this decision, am I likely to get a good outcome, or is it better for more likely to get better outcome doing the other decision? But either way, it's not a guaranteed outcome. It's a risk analysis, and I think to me it's common sense that if you took 10 people, we'd all make different decisions because they're all different. Because we're different people, we have different expectations, different experiences. And then if you lay upon that, you might make a mistake because you're inexperienced. Then, well, my point is that you may make a different decision, but we're never going to know if I made a decision how it would go. So I'm happy for you to think about what you would have done, but I don't think I need anyone criticising my decisions, because I'm doing the best decisions I can based on the information and experiences I've got, and I'm happy to live with them. When I explain my mistakes to you, I suppose there's two kinds of mistakes. There's a mistake in hindsight where you make a decision and you end up, oh, that was actually a mistake because in the end I didn't get another job, or that job was harder than I thought it was going to be. And those hindsight mistakes you can kind of mitigate by having more experience and more instinct. Or there's mistakes you make in the moment because you're just inexperienced and you just make the wrong decision. Like, I'm going to central London, for example. I'm not going to make that mistake again. But might price something incorrectly because I just haven't got the right pricing strategy. And those are mistakes that you can learn from those because you learn from them and you think, it didn't work last time, next time I'll do it differently. So I think some mistakes are things you learn from and some are just circumstantial. So I think it's worth just knowing that one's decisions and one's mistakes are just things you have to live with and own. Yeah, own them. If you make a mistake, own it. So I feel that today has gone all right, I would say. I'd give it a 6 out of 10 because I've made okay money and I've had an okay length day and I've experienced a few new things I hadn't experienced before, and I'm going to be in the right area for tomorrow. If I get a good day tomorrow, it would make the whole 2 days a brilliant experience, or it might just make it whole 2 days okay. I don't think I've made such poor decisions that it's going to be a bad day or a bad couple of days. I should make my target over the 2 days, and I suppose that's really the bottom line. That's the most important thing. Right, let me just check if there's anything else I need to say about today. So I'm about, how far am I from my place? I'm about 20 minutes from Llandudno. This is, just for a slight aside, this was familiar territory to me in the early 90s because I went to university in Bangor, not very far from here. And so I've not been for a long time, so I'm sort of familiar with this road. Yeah, so I'm going to get there, tramp up, and then we'll see what tomorrow brings. I've got £200 when I finish this job, £250 when I do my pickup from Bury. So we'll then see what else I pick up tomorrow. Right, what am I grateful for today? Let me think about this. I'm going to say that I'm going to share with you a bit of news, I suppose. I think that I've made a friend, a good friend. Um, it's an online friend, as it were, and it's someone that I've been talking to recently off the back of my YouTube, and I am grateful for that friendship that I have with them. I've said in previous videos about my autistic traits, I can only really cope with one best friend at a time. So that my friendship slots are now full. I can't cope with anyone else being my friend. Be friendly, no problem, but having someone I can confide in, it's quite nice. And I suppose the difference here is someone I can confide in who does this job. So I can get advice or I can get share. When I'm frustrated, I can share that with them and we can share stories. So I'm grateful for having that friendship that has developed through me being part of YouTube. Right, thank you for listening. I hope that you are all successful in however you define that term. And what are you grateful for today?